checked in, the junior college transfer out of Pace, Florida. 6'5", 220. A little bigger body to go up on Nurse now. It'll be interesting to see how Gillespie rotates his players tonight, because he literally said he wasn't sure. Wasn't sure how he's going to feel or know exactly when he's going to replace players and get new, fresh people in, because he's just not sure how they'll play yet.
In his time at UTEP, his time at Texas A&M, and his time at Kentucky, he says never going into a season did he know less about a team than he knows about this Red Raider team. So many new faces, limited amount of time working with them, and still just trying to sort out and teach these guys how to play at this level.
Interesting that he's had this group on the floor as long as he has at this point.
Yeah, Gocher off the bench, the only non-starter for his team so far.
And a pretty good place to put him. Over in the corner, hits the three. Gocher, the guy that Gillespie told us before the game, has shown the most in practice. He's been the most impressed with him so far, the freshman out of Garland, Lakeview Centennial.
Well, and it's all about that practice that earns playing time in a game. Got to impress there, got to play hard. Gocher has, Tolbert has, obviously Ty Nurse, Bean Willis, and Lewandowski. And Lewandowski really is the guy that Billy Gillespie has asked to be his coach on the floor.
Another travel against Troy. That's why the Red Raiders have the ball again. And a foul on Weathers. He was trailing all the way and just got caught in the wrong place.
Well, and Nurse did a great job there, trying to get the ball outside, and sees that Weathers is just sprinting up behind him, and he just sets himself and allows Weathers to run into him and draw the foul.
One of the interesting things, I think, John, looking at this Tech team coming in, you look at all the things in their background. The one thing that stood out to me more than anything, all these guys are winners. They all come from winning programs, whether it was playing at a national title game in junior college, whether it was winning 91% of their high school games, as Gocher did. There's the three again by Nurse, who's one of those guys I'm talking about. He was from Midland College in the national title game a year ago.
I think that certainly creates an atmosphere that you like. You want winners. You want guys that know what it takes to win, have been there, and they want to get back. That's the main thing.
Red Raiders up 15-11, got the ball back after the well, it's not a visitor's rim down at that other end, we just realized. Nurse with another three try, and this one can't go.
Well, a 6-0 run by the Red Raiders to come from 2 down to go up in front 15-11.
Now the three-pointer's wide open for Justin Wright. I mean, nobody on him as the Red Raiders hustled down the floor and forgot there was a trailer back there.
And Troy again, pressure on the inbound. You've got to get that ball in. Then they're going to drop back into their zone on the defensive end, but they're going to pressure. You know, any inbounds pass, the Trojans are going to pressure that, try to make you force a turnover.
Well, speaking of turnovers, the Red Raiders with 58 turnovers in the 2 exhibition games coming into this one. So far, not so much tonight. They've handled the basketball a lot better so far. Of course, it's early. I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying that, you know, as they start getting tired, that's usually when those kinds of things really pop up.
Got lots of guys that can help you off the bench maybe with that. But if you can shoot 31 of 38 and a half, score 70 points in 20 minutes of basketball, you can afford a turnover or two here or there.
That's Teron Petaway that you're seeing right there, the freshman out of Galveston Ball, number 10 recruit in Texas, according to TexasHoops.com. By the way, shouldn't it be TexasHoops.net? I don't know.
It should be.
Been wondering that all along. But he's in there now, and another guy that comes from a winning program, 2-time All-Stater, and he hits the three right off the bench.
Barely time to warm up. I mean, stepped off the bench, came down, the Red Raiders inbound the ball, and he knocks down one from the outside.
I'll tell you, Troy down 4 now. Not putting the ball up as fast as they were earlier, and then looked a little impatient on that shot.
Well, and take a look there. Red Raiders had 4 of their 5 quickly down the floor. I mean, that is the conditioning of Billy Gillespie. One of the things that he demands from this team is you're in shape, and it's not going to slow down throughout the course of the game.
Nick Combs, who has checked in for Troy, was the culprit right there on the foul, a sophomore out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Inside to Lewandowski. Boy, nice job. Put it on the floor. Got the bank and the roll. Nice touch.
Pretty determined play by Lewandowski inside. And I think as the season goes along and you get closer to Big 12 play, and you certainly see some outstanding big men, the play of Big Lou inside being more physical is going to be a huge asset for this team.
But left Allen Jones open on the other end, did the Red Raiders. He got the basket there, and it's 2017. Quickly as Pettaway running the floor and gets the, look at that. Nice hustle by Pettaway, and he also gets the and one.
And you find out what kind of thoroughbreds these guys are. Pettaway inbounded.
Who's now at the free throw line with a chance to get the three-point play here.
And if you like long-range shooting, I mean, this has been the game for you. 15 made baskets in the game so far, and 9 of them are three-pointers.
4 by the Trojans as they look for the three almost every time down the floor. Nice steal by Nurse. One-on-one, and he takes it himself, banks it off the glass.
Pretty good job on the defensive end, too, by Gocher to force that bad pass, and then Ty Nurse in position to steal it and quickly get down the court and score again.
Boy, and that last fake against R.J. Scott was a dandy. Left him right on the floor when he was able to go up for the basket. Down at the other end, it's Nick Combs that quiets the crowd just a little bit with the shot.
Yeah, and a really good crowd here for the opening game, and Ty Nurse in double figures already.
Tim Owens whistled on the foul there as Bean Willis was going up. Another look at Ty Nurse with his 10th point of the game after the tip steal and the drive.
Yeah, and again, you saw the defensive pressure by Gocher there to force that pass, and Ty Nurse defensively in the right spot, able to take it away and score.
Willis unable to get the free throw down, though, and that's something that so far here tonight, Red Raiders unable to take advantage at the stripe.
It was one of the things, an issue in the first half of that opening exhibition game where they did not shoot at the line very well. And it's something that, honestly, they've not worked on very much at all in practice. Second half of the exhibition opener against Southwestern Oklahoma, and in the ball game with Our Lady of the Lake, they shot fine from the free throw line.
Wow, was Allen Jones up in the air quick or what? He got off the floor just like he was shot up in the air and hit the three. It is 25-21 Red Raiders. Well, you mentioned that, but the one guy you know you can get to the line, or at least you want to, is Lewandowski. He was perfect, 13 of 13 in that second exhibition
and
game.
Was very good at the free throw line a year ago.
Yeah, Willis with the drive and then feeds it. Lewandowski, how could that not be a foul?
R.J. Scott over the back of Lewandowski to get his hand on the ball.
Pettaway doesn't get the bounce. I'd love to see that one again to see if, in fact, he got all ball. Just couldn't see how that would be possible.
I'm not sure he did.
And the miss by Cunningham on the drive, but he was fouled. And that's going to go against Gocher.
For his fast-paced, up and down the floor, only 4 team fouls against the Red Raiders.
Well, take that back. That was pretty much all ball. And a great job by the production and camera here. United Spirit Arena's crew. I'm telling you, those guys got right on top of that one.
Hey, it's not their opener. They've been here before. They're a veteran squad.
That is true. Stephen Cunningham at the line. Again, Troy, a team with 9 newcomers, only 3 returners. They've only got 4 players with Division I experience at all. Cunningham, one of those guys. In fact, he's their most senior guy.
You know, but
it's
it's interesting along those lines, the fact that both these teams are almost even in terms of non-experience. Billy Gillespie gives the nod to Troy's head coach, Don Maestri, who's in his 30th season coaching this team. He says, you know, that kind of experience helps in this situation, and Maestri has been there and enjoyed a great deal of success with Troy.
The amazing thing to me, though, is that Maestri's not even the most experienced guy at his school on his bench.
Right.
He has an assistant that this is his 31st year. That's just crazy.
That's a lot of time with the Trojans.
You know, to add a
number of different conferences.
Well, to add a little more to it, there are only 3 other coaches in the NCAA basketball that have been at their schools longer. And great drive. Oh, my. Now, that's the way you move the basketball. Deshaun Minnis, they call him Biggie, and he was big inside, that's for sure. Take a look at this. And that's from a 6'3", 185-pound freshman.
That is something, though, tonight you have seen from the Red Raiders. Now, at 6'3", not small by any means, but not as big as some on the floor. But Red Raiders not shy about driving that ball right inside to the rack.
Well, 6'3", but that 185, it must be all in his shoulders because he's got some cannons. And the pass that was in front of the intended, I was going to say receiver, but I know we're not there. That's tomorrow. Durante Clark, the the man running the baseline right there trying to get the back door.
Running the pass route?
Something like that. But talking about Maestri, the other coaches, the other three, Jim Boeheim, Mike Krzyzewski, not too bad a company right there. And, of course, Dave Bike out of Sacred Heart. But those other two names you probably are slightly familiar with.
Well, and familiar with names of other outstanding coaches who have been there in the state of Alabama, like Gene Bartow or Wimp Sanderson. None of them have won as many games as Don Maestri has during his career with the Trojans.
Red Raiders doing a nice job working the ball around. That's Gillespie-style offense right there as well. And now it's Pettaway that puts it away.
You saw the great job of reversing the basketball against that Troy zone. It went from Nurse to Gocher to Pettaway. Troy's zone can't make the move to the opposite side of the floor as quickly as you can pass that basketball, and Pettaway just a wide open jumper.
Pettaway with 7 now, and the missed shot there because of good defense by Gocher, and here comes Pettaway again. I'll tell you what it was that gave me that little football moment. It's Pettaway. Looks like Bradley Marquez, the receiver for Tech.
Absolutely.
From way outside, that's Ty Nurse showing his range.
And Ty's got 13, and again, nobody from Troy coming out to defend a guy now that's just eating him up from out front.
Boy, Billy Gillespie's got to be happy with the offensive show so far. Well, both ends of the floor, but certainly the offensive show that his Red Raiders have put together so far, these young guys. And now the whistle called inside, and it's going to go against the Red Raiders' menace.
Like to call what Troy is doing almost like the Globetrotter weave out front. They're just passing that ball and trying to find an opening and trying to drive that ball inside. And they get Menace on the foul there as they lower that shoulder, and Weathers tries to drive inside.
Nurse going to get a little bit of a rest now as Willis comes back out. Red Raiders on an 8-0 run in the last almost 2 minutes of play. And Troy's going to try to end that. They do. And that's that outside shot again by Justin Wright. He has really heated up here for the Trojans. That's 6 now for Wright, but both of those have been the bomb.
Yeah, and you can see if you don't step out on that pass out front in that weave, somebody's going to step up and shoot that basketball. You're going to have to extend that defense and get on them. That's something we said defensively. You've got to defend that three-point line.
Willis couldn't hit, but Pettaway really fights for it inside. Just can't get the shot. And the Trojans are not going to waste any time to try their shot, and the whistle inside against Wright.
Got him going over the back of
13, leads everybody. Pettaway with 7 leads everybody on Troy as well. Bean Willis with the free throw. Now we'll start seeing some go down at the line, and that would be helpful as well. Red Raiders' largest lead extended now to 9. About to go to double figures if he can knock this one down, and does.
Pretty good family relations in the Bean Willis family when his uncle is Carl Malone, and the mailman delivered for a lot of years.
Yes, he did. I did basketball games for Lamar University for many years when Carl Malone was at Louisiana Tech, and he was a man amongst boys in college basketball, let me tell you.
And that didn't change much.
Not much.
At the next level either.
Not much. Another look inside at the foul. That's going to send R.J. Scott to the line, and he hits his first. You know, Bean Willis, who checks out right now, a guy that has been struggling a little bit with hamstring problems in the early part of the preseason. It's nice to see him out there and able to get up and down the floor as well as he has so far tonight.
Yeah, and a couple of Red Raiders that we will not see in the ball game.
Ooh,
Jay
that
Crockett,
could have been tough.
Almost rolled up by Alan Jones, but we'll not see Jay Crockett in this ball game, and we'll not see Kevin Wagner, who played his high school basketball right here in Lubbock, both injured. And the timetable for their return really kind of uncertain. Billy Gillespie not really sure, but a couple of guys that can help this team when they do get on the floor.
That was a little scary looking right there. Not only could he have rolled his ankle, but his knee as well. Nurse might have needed a nurse if that had happened. Gets the free throw, though. And there's a few names here this year. I like it.
Yeah. Lot to like about Ty Nurse.
He really has shown an awful lot of talent here tonight early on. And shows some touch from the free throw line as well, and continues his nice scoring here tonight, has 15.
Yeah, and talking about winners, I mean, knowing that he helped Midland College reach the National Junior College Championship game, helped the Canadian Junior National team to a 7th place finish in the Worlds. I mean, the guy has played in some very big games against outstanding competition, and you know you've got a guy out there that once you get him settled into Division I college basketball is a huge plus for your team.
And doing a nice job against the press. You saw him split the double team right there. And, oh, look at the inside again by Biggie Minnis.
Well, he had the opportunity when he faked that pass to Ty Nurse. Defense stepped that direction, opened up the driving lane for him. He went inside, kind of bounced off R.J. Scott inside, got the ball back and scored.
Tried the backdoor pass, didn't get it. And how in the world did that go down? That was a prayer, and it was answered. Great shot by Raymond Chambers. And this is the guy we told you about in the pregame. You're going to see it bouncing around there. Watch him just throw it up there, and it banks in. Now, Chambers, a guy that the junior college All-American coming in out of Cincinnati, Ohio, had a double-double in the exhibition game that they played, and they really like the talent of this individual. 6'6", 220-pounder, and the rebound right there by Pettaway.
You wanted to call a forward pass earlier in the game. That time he takes advantage of the kick over to him there on the baseline. Soccer move and immediately put the ball up and scored. Not so great at the free throw line, though.
No. But a big guy inside, you typically don't see that great free throw shooting ability. Lewandowski, one of the few that has the bigger body and does well from the line, and he gets it inside, tries to fight, and they're going to call it. No, a travel. He worked it around a little too much as he was trying to battle against 3 defenders.
Pretty tough inside. You got multiple people hanging on to you, and Lewandowski trying to get that ball and face up to the basket. Both officials blowing the whistle, both traveling immediately against Big Lou, but that's just a spot where that was going to be a hard shot to get off.
Yeah, if he had gone up with it, he might have gotten the call the other way. But kept trying to battle around, and when you do that, you move that pivot foot. But quick hands right there for the Red Raiders by Minnis. Couldn't control it, but again, great hustle out there. And this is what you expect to see out of a Billy Gillispie team, is just intensity all the time.
And all a product of their great conditioning. I mean, and that's what you see in practice, translate into game play as well. They don't get tired.
Feed inside to Owens. Lewandowski, well, the crowd wanted the travel call against Owens.
So did Billy Gillispie on that Red Raider bench. Much more obvious there than the one against Lewandowski on the other end.
They said, hey, wait a minute. You called it you called it in one. You got to call the other. They did, and here come the Red Raiders. Nurse with his head up looking.
No need for a shot clock and no need to count 10 in the backcourt either. Neither team lingering too long back there.
Lewandowski again. Good defense against him by Owens. And boy, the struggle for Lewandowski right now. Again, this has been a key defensive move by Troy to get Owens in there against Lewandowski, and he's having trouble with the 6'9", 210-pound senior.
Well, just trapped on that baseline and unable to find a teammate to get the ball to. Tried the cross baseline pass there, but stepped out of bounds.
Troy moving that ball around so quickly as they do around the perimeter. But it just looks so out of sync until they come up with the shot. Gocher with the rebound, got up there quickly, and here come the Red Raiders. Inside the Lewandowski.
Nice
Good feed to Gocher, and he couldn't get the roll, but fights to get it back. Swatted away by Owens. They're going to call a goaltend.
Well, all effort there by Gocher inside. A nice pass to get him the basketball in a great position. He did a good job initially shielding the basketball with his body, trying to keep it away from the Troy players, then has to go back up and get it. But that's hustle inside against 3 defenders from Troy.
Red Raiders up 41-30, 11-point lead now. with about just under 5 minutes left here in this first half.
You know, and a big play there because Tim Owens, 6'9" for Troy, second personal foul there, reaching over Gocher. He's going to sit down for a while.
While Lewandowski remains, and that one hits the side of the backboard. And the Red Raiders can't control it coming out. Minnis trying to get it quickly out of from Pettaway, and they just couldn't get the connection going very well. And again, that's one of the things too that Billy Gillispie warned us, if that's the right word, before the game goes, hey, you know, we got guys out here that really don't know how to play this game with me yet. They don't know exactly what I want. And because of that, they're thinking a lot when they're out there. So you're going to see some things that don't look very instinctual because they're not yet. And when you have that, you're going to have some misconnects.
I suspect you'll see more of that on the offensive end than the defensive end. I think they know what they're supposed to do on the defensive end, and that is keep their man away from the bucket, defend them outside that three-point line. I think a lot of the thinking that he's referring to, when to stop and when to go, occurs on this end of the floor.
And I think you saw it also, though, on trying to get the transition going, too. They're not quite exactly sure what lanes to take when they were starting to get quickly out of there. And the turnover right there again now for the Red Raiders, and a little bit of a bug starting to bite here.
Well, and Pettaway had that ball in great position, but sometimes kind of instinctually you're gonna make that jab step and try to fake that defense out just a little bit when really there was nobody there defending him within a reasonable distance. Just step up and shoot that ball with a wide open look.
Emil Jones with the shot doesn't fall, and boy, Troy now battling for it. They're going to get a second chance from the corner. But they also send it out of bounds, and the Red Raiders will have the basket. Now you're seeing the banners that are up above, but I was going to show you the standard underneath the basket because it still says, the padding still says Lady Raiders. That's not any kind of slight to the men out here. That's because the Lady Raiders played. This was a doubleheader tonight. They played earlier and won 69-43 over New Mexico. So good start for the Lady Raiders there as well in their opener.
Yeah, big expectations from Christy Curry for her team, and they get off to a 1-0 start.
And the Trojans have not had a very good offensive run of late because of that. The Tech defense has been outstanding over the last about 5 minutes, because the Troy's only scored 5 points in those 5 minutes, and they're getting roughed up a little bit.
Yeah, Justin Wright trying to force one there inside, but a nice inbounds play, and they caught Pettaway with his back to the ball on the inbound play and immediately having to go up because Justin Wright just got great position inside.
Well, he did a great job with the block hand. I think it was the hand on the body, though, that unfortunately he got called with and caught with, because he was in good position to get up there and block that thing. Right with the free throw, and he's been a bit of a spark for this Troy team as he's come out tonight off the bench. The junior college transfer, he's 6'5", 220, and has 7 points. And the Red Raiders unable to get it inside. It's Troy that's battling for it, and they were quicker up with it. Durante Clark with the basket, and boy, Gillespie's not happy about that. That is not a good transition for the Red Raiders.
Initially, when that ball had come off the rim.
And now the 5 seconds.
Yeah, pair of Red Raiders fighting for that basketball, kind of tipped it back to Troy, and they're able to take advantage.
Suddenly the turnover bug's starting to bite, and it's happening in a variety of ways here for the Red Raiders.
6 turnovers, which is a long way from 28. But
yeah,
we've talked about Troy pressuring the inbounds pass, and right there it pays off as the Red Raiders could not get the ball in and got the 5-second count.
Well, just we talked about the Red Raider defense, what it had been doing, and they suddenly give up a quick 3 points. And they get the basketball back to Troy, and now it's a 5-point run by the Trojans. Yeah, that was Weathers with the basket.
Able to drive inside, and that's one thing you have to take away. Inside in the timeout, Lewandowski coming back on for the Red Raiders.
And really is the leader of this team and will be for a good portion, you would think, of the early part of this season at least.
Well, and a very good guy to inbound the basketball to at 6'10", and the Red Raiders do successfully there, and now you have it in the front court.
Nurse, Minnis, Pettaway, Gocher, and Lewandowski out there for the Red Raiders. The feed to Minnis. Nifty move. Biggie with the nifty. I'll tell you, the guy shows a lot of ability, not only with the way he moves that body, but, well, pretty good defense right there, too, swatting the ball away.
Well, on the offensive end, did a great job with that ball down on the baseline from his point guard spot, stepped right up to the free throw line, picked up the pass there, and scored.
And he shows that he's got the good leap, the quick leap, too, so he was able to get that one away. That was what I was going to talk about on the offensive end, and then he just did the exact same thing defensively, getting up there so quickly. The foul called right there. And it's against Minnis. And for Minnis, that's number 2. Good crowd here tonight for the Red Raiders, and they are into it. That's one of the things about Texas Tech basketball that they've, over the last few years, the dwindling crowd and just the excitement level of the crowd was really lacking. And now you get the excitement of a new season. You've got Billy Gillespie here as the head coach, and all these young players that you're trying to get to know, and you know they're going to put out effort. That's another thing that he made very clear to us, that no matter what, they're going to make mistakes, there's no doubt. But these guys, he said, put out more effort than he's seen in a team he has coached in a long time, too. They really do put effort on the floor.
Well, effort on the floor and good play certainly will draw crowds to Red Raider basketball, but trying very hard to make this an event for spectators as well. And that's why you see a nice crowd here on opening night.
Pettaway almost made up for the mistake that he made on the inbounds. Red Raiders really struggling right now against the Troy press on the inbounds. And another turnover for Tech. Owens back in there, as Lewandowski was in the back door. What a great drive down the baseline right there by Cunningham.
Well, they inbounded to their big man, cross-court pass to Justin Wright, and the inbounder, Cunningham, right down the baseline, and that pass looked inside. That is a really nicely set up and executed play.
And there's another look at it right there as he took the feed and was almost already up in the air when he did.
Got away from Biggie and is able to get inside and score, and you can't get the help there quickly enough from Pettaway.
But Cunningham, after making that great play, getting the jam, also turned right around and had the defensive foul, as he was pressing just a little bit too hard on Nurse.
And team foul number 10 against Troy, so the Red Raiders in the final 1:45 of the half shooting a pair.
And Nurse, a guy that you want up there. He has shown now that he's one of the guys that you're going to be able to count on at the free throw line. 3 for 3 now.
And pretty impressive first half, too, with 16 overall.
Really has had a good start for the Red Raiders here, as the entire team. Pretty good effort as well here in this first half. 45-38 at the moment. And Troy working it around again. Not wanting to do that, though. You could just see it in the eyes of these guys. They want to jack it up.
And you've got to extend that defense out past that three-point line, because clearly you step back at all, and they're going to shoot it.
Weathers with the drive kicks it right back out, and there's the open man, Clark, but he can't get it to fall. Does get it back. And the feed into Owens. Boy, the good thing that thing didn't roll in. Lewandowski's going to get called for the foul.
Well, and had to foul him there. Had to go up to try and prevent what was going to be a dunk by Tim Owens, and you prevent that from happening. Make him earn them at the free throw line, where he did not shoot the ball well earlier.
Went up strong, but Lewandowski was a little stronger to keep it away, or at least keep it out of the net. Owens with the free throw, and senior out of Orlando, Florida, had 4 blocks in that exhibition game that Troy played to get warmed up for their season. Lewandowski with the rebound after that miss, and Tech continues to lead by 6. They were up by 11 earlier. Wide open, but unable to get the handle on the basketball was Willis.
Find it interesting, a moment ago they double-teamed Minnis in the corner and left Nurse by himself, but did not take the shot and tried to work it over, and the Red Raiders eventually turned the ball over.
Yeah, another turnover. Wide open from the corner is Wright. Can't get it to go. We're inside 40 seconds now. And Tech, boy, really not wanting this lead to dwindle anymore, but Bean Willis is called for the foul. Dove in there for the ball, and I guess it got him on his ankle or something.
Fouled him down low, trying to slap that ball away.
Yeah. Got him on the hand trip or something.
Yeah, going to put Weathers. Here's a 75% shooter on the line in the final 35 seconds.
Well, and now that lead down to 5, maybe down to 4 here, and you've got 35 seconds left. You're going to want to try to certainly get something on the offensive end before this half to slow it down. But you got to battle and get it, and they do. Red Raiders with the basketball here, and 30 seconds to go in the half.
Now can they hold it for 30 seconds and get that last shot?
Shot clock and game clock were about even, and they shut off the shot clock. So they can work it to the last shot if they want to. It looks like they're going to try. Now down to 10. And Minnis over to Willis. Trying to direct traffic out there. This is the area maybe not quite sure. Nurse tried to draw the foul, and he just throws up the 3, and it's no good. And the Red Raiders.
TheMovie.com or check your local listings in February.
They brought.
They're going to have to bring a bunch.
Troy with the basketball first here, and again the 11-point lead the Red Raiders had, with Troy getting a chance now to drop that down to, well, possibly a deuce if they're able to get a 3. But it's the drive by Weathers, swatted away by Tolbert, who starts the game in the second half as he did the initial portion of the game.
I'm telling you, a Football Reference there would not be out of place, because the guy with the ball there, Will Weathers, just got in behind Tim Owens, his big man, and he's let him drive him right inside.
But Tolbert also used a little screen to get up high and swatted away. Red Raiders now with a chance to extend the lead to open the half here. Gocher is in there. He gets the start in the second half. Number 20.
And still that same zone defense by Troy.
Bean Willis working it around for the Red Raiders. And the shot clock down to 2 when that one was let go by Nurse. And he looks around at everybody in the crowd with his threes after knocking down the 3. Lewandowski with the rebound. Got caught with the elbow. Well, he was just swinging his arms, which he needs to keep those elbows tight to his body when he does that, because that just caught Weathers.
And Billy Gillespie cannot bear to look. I mean, this shot looked good from Nurse when it went up. I mean, you're not going to have to shoot that kind of arc very often. Offensive foul on Big Lou, and that is his 3rd.
Red Raiders struggled a little bit on the inbounds by Troy, and there you go, the 3-pointer by Durante Clark. And boy, you've got to be a little bit more protective. And now the Red Raiders, who really struggled in this department the last couple of minutes of the first half, open the second half again with that problem of not being able to get it inbound.
Well, and Lewandowski coaching on the floor, telling Gocher he's got to run that direction, not try a long pass like that. And Gocher and Red Raider fans on that end completely convinced that ball was tipped out of bounds by Troy.
Scott kicks it out after he couldn't find a lane to drive into. And Troy with the feed. Back to Scott, and the whistle stepping on the baseline.
Yeah, trying to work that baseline. But the Red Raiders' difficulty now is trying to get the ball inbounded.
Gocher feeds it to Willis. And Troy backs away.
You take the other 3 players on the floor and run them the opposite direction. Bean Willis goes back to the basketball and is able to get open. No other defenders there for Troy, and the Red Raiders have it on the offensive end.
Well, maybe you weather that storm right there to begin the second half and now get back into your groove, your rhythm. And Nurse kicking it back to Willis. Inside to Tolbert. Willis, or Nurse rather, took that body of Weathers, and just a pass that probably shouldn't have been thrown the way that it was. You're going to see.
Well, Tolbert wasn't in a real great position down there near the baseline trying to get rid of the ball. Did not see Weathers coming over. And for really the second time in this game, Ty Nurse has been sent to the floor. Rather tough.
Yeah, he's taken that shot to the leg. Lewandowski blocked as he went up by 2 Trojans, and then Owen swatted away again. The alley-oop. Red Raiders are going to get whistled, but at least they don't have the basket. Cunningham's the guy that went up for it. Tolbert's going to be the guy that's going to get whistled.
Boy, you can just see how quickly Troy can turn defense into offense. I mean, quickly down the floor trying to get that ball to Cunningham, and you've got Jordan Tolbert there doing a great job to prevent that alley-oop from being finished off.
Well, and you've got to be impressed with as exactly what Gillespie said, Tolbert's body and the way he uses it. I mean, the guy got up in a hurry. Earlier, he was the one that jumped up and blocked the shot. Really does use that 6'7", 210 frame well for a freshman. The interesting comment that Gillespie made about him is that he's got that great body, but he really doesn't know exactly how to use it yet. And what he means by that is just how to control it, how to make it really work to his advantage. There are flashes of brilliance, though, that we've seen already.
And you just think about this guy 10 and 20 games into the season and just how much better he will be.
Now Gocher gets it in, but the pressure going on Nurse, boy, that was close. That was close to being a baseline out of bounds again, as Nurse was just about to step over there, but he's fortunate Cunningham's the guy forcing him there, gets whistled.
Ty got the basketball and got 3 defenders on him, and it's difficult to dribble between 3 defenders.
But they've got to try it again. And this time, once they get it in, Troy backs off again, and Tech will have the offensive opportunity here. Gillespie jumped up, swung his arms or his fingers around, giving them the indication they need to move the ball around. They did, and Bean Willis ends it.
Boy, and we've seen that a couple of times. You get that ball down on the baseline, and that guard out front is headed right to that free throw line because the defense collapses to the big man. Guard comes right there, and Lewandowski, nice pass back to Bean. Easy shot for him.
Nurse called for the reach in, though, and his second foul. Everyone on the floor for the Red Raiders has at least 2 fouls. Lewandowski has 3. And the last basket for the Red Raiders by Willis. And the three-pointer again by the Trojans, Cunningham. Tell you, when they are open, they don't miss.
They don't hesitate to pull the trigger.
Well, and that's the real lesson there is you've mentioned a couple of times. You've got to keep that defense out in the perimeter because if you give them just a sliver of an opening, they have killer touch.
10 points for Cunningham, a guy that averaged 4.5 a year ago, but left open out front. I mean, they've got a nice touch on the ball.
And there's a good piece of news for the Red Raiders there is Cunningham, that time fighting against Lewandowski, gets whistled, and that's his 3rd foul. He's going to go to the bench. And you get a good look at it here. Lewandowski reaching for the ball and reaching for the arm was Cunningham.
Yeah.
There's Mr. Tolbert. Well, we told you in the first half when he got the dunk on the inbounds that's how he scores most of the time. He does it again there, but the Red Raiders on the other end give up the 3.
Not even time to celebrate if you're a Red Raider fan on the inbound play to Tolbert because Jones knocking down a 3, and the gap just keeps getting smaller.
Yeah.
The Trojans just narrowing it bucket by bucket.
Right when you were up by 5 again, they narrow it down to 2 after the 3. It's 52-50. Nurse with the 3, and he can't get his to go, but Lewandowski is there for the putback. What a big basket that is at this juncture with 15:45 left. The Red Raiders now up 4.
Yeah, it's kind of like a moment ago. You're knocking down a 2, and Troy's making a 3. It's like a touchdown or a field goal.
It's just bodies that are rolling him. How about that?
And he stayed up from free throw line to free throw line,
and got,
despite that large
prizes for the prizes for the crowd. Red Raiders with the 4-point lead now and trying to make it more. The feed inside to Tolbert, and the whistle is going to go against Jones.
And that's all about good positioning by Tolbert inside. Lewandowski spots him there in the lane. He's got Jones pinned on the backside. No choice there but to foul. And to hang on to Tolbert here. both of his buckets tonight have been monster dunks on inbounds play right there. And Allen Jones hanging on to him. They're not going to let him get up in the air.
They're going to try again, though. They do get it to him, but not under the basket. Red Raiders looking for the open man. Couldn't get one right away, so they'll work the offense. Tolbert finds. Oh, what a nice pass to Gocher, who was wide open on the backside.
Well, when he stepped up with that dribble on that baseline far side, that brought the defense attention and able to make that one-handed pass right to Gocher.
But the defensive breakdown on the other end, and the answer is made by the Trojans, and now you got to inbounds again. And boy, there was some battling going on down there, and fortunately for the Red Raiders, it's going to be whistled against Emil Jones again. And he comes out of there struggling with his right arm. But take a look at the great pass and the left-hander off the glass.
Boy, that's just a great look by Tolbert. Unselfish play, too, to see a teammate right there and got him the ball in a perfect spot to score up high.
Well, Pettaway this time with the inbounds did a nice job to feed it over to Gocher, and that got it out of there. Pettaway is checked back in.
Billy Gillespie's got some options with this team, certainly. I mean, you can see a lot of talent there. I mean, we mentioned earlier that he said, I'm not really sure what I've got, but what he's got is a lot of raw talent. I mean, as he can shape them into the kind of team that he wants, you can see how he can get this thing turned around quicker than some people might think.
Well, and he knows he had athletes and he had winners, and those are pretty good combination right there if they can play as a team in the style that he wants to play, and that's what he's trying to mold them into.
Boy, and that is number 4 on Big Robert.
And that is not good news for the Red Raiders because there's still 14:29 left to play here. And the Red Raiders up by only 4. Lewandowski, who's really been the heart and soul of the Red Raiders here in the exhibition portion of the preseason, and who Gillespie, as you can see him coaching him up right now as he comes to the bench, is really going to be counting on to be out there on the floor, not on the bench.
You're trading a 6'10 guy inside for a 6'3 guard, so it clearly changes the dimensions, the dynamics of your team on the floor.
As Minnis comes in and the Trojans knock one down immediately. And now the lead is just 2, 56-54. The Red Raiders do get it inbounds and get up the floor in a hurry, though, and that's positive.
Yeah, and all 5 of these guys on the floor at the moment for the Red Raiders were not Red Raiders a year ago. You mean you got 5 new faces out there, weren't playing with each other anywhere. So this is going to be a big test.
Nurse going to get called for the travel. He did. He tried to drive the lane, couldn't find anything there, and wanted to get it back outside, but he turned his body instead of, and shuffled his feet as he did that. And another turnover and a chance for the Trojans now to tie or take the lead for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, led early on, and then the Red Raiders built that 11-point lead in the first half. But Troy, after that, they just will not go away.
And in fact, banking off the glass, that'll tie it. The last time they had the lead was 14:29 left in the first half, and that was Nick Combs that got the basket to tie it. So Red Raiders now had an 11-point lead in that first half, a turnover again, and now the opportunity for the Trojans to take the lead.
Yeah, Justin Wright just picks the pocket of Teron Pettaway.
And the miss, fortunately for the Red Raiders there. Minnis comes away with it. He's trying to push it. 2-on-1, and the blocking foul against Combs.
Get a little bit of the idea of the strength of Biggie Minnis that we've talked about there, coming down the floor, using that arm to keep Allen Jones off of him as he's driving to the bucket, strong enough to do that. And then Combs, who had tied the game on the other end, underneath the bucket and called for blocking.
Minnis, who has 7 points, all of them came in the first half as he's just checked in recently here in the second half from the free throw line, makes the basket there, the one-pointer. And again, out of Philadelphia, a guy that had some looks at other places and was a late addition by the Red Raiders and a good find, it looks like.
High school All-American and does not get the bucket there, but Tolbert, guy plays above the rim, able to step inside. They don't block him off on the missed free throw, And Big Jordan just lays that one back in.
You know, very easy to understand why Gillespie is so high on this kid. I mean, he showed the 2 dunks that we've seen already, just as he did in the exhibition games, but now he shows another element. He's shown the block. He's shown the rebound ability. I mean, the guy seems to have just about all you want from an inside player. There he goes up again. And I don't think he's the one that's being whistled. He was behind Gocher, who's going to be called for the foul, or at least should be.
Or Minnis.
Or Minnis. They'll call Minnis there as he reached in before they even got to that point. But you could see how high right there in the replay, how high Tolbert got up, and he was ready to swat another one away. The free throw is made by Combs. That'll cut it back to 2 again, and Willis will check in for Minnis.
Got to play better defense. One of the commandments of Billy Gillespie and Minnis out of position, allowing the man inside on that drive that he would have to foul to prevent the bucket.
Well, it's a lot of fun, obviously, to watch what goes on the floor. It's also fun to watch the bench because Billy Gillespie has some expressions over there. He is a character on the bench that is fun to, if you're in the arena at any time, glance down there on occasion. Red Raiders working it around. Troy in that zone again, and the kick out to Nurse. And there's the three-pointer by Ty Nurse. Boy, he has really shown the shooting ability out here tonight.
And he's got 5 3-pointers.
The misses, and Pettaway comes away with it. Yeah, he's at 23 points now, is Nurse.
Pretty good decision there by Pettaway to not take off down the floor, to get that ball in the hands of the guards here.
Oh, and the travel by Tolbert.
Oh.
Gillespie doesn't believe it. The fans
got around Ray Chambers and just tapped that one back in. 6 points tonight, 3 rebounds for Jordan Tolbert. He's also got an assist and a blocked shot. He's done a little bit of everything, and he's going to have to keep that up with Lewandowski on the bench with 4 fouls.
Well, when you look at the box score in the morning, you go, well, Tolbert must not have played that well. He only had 6 points. If you knew how those 6 points came, you would certainly know that wasn't the case.
You would want to be here in the arena to watch
there's
for
a
it
travel
the next
against
time.
Troy.
Yeah.
It's R.J. Scott that gets whistled, and the turnover for the Trojans. Well, Troy's shooting percentage really picking up here in this second half. Part of the reason they've been able to battle right back and got even with the Red Raiders a little bit ago.
But, you know, the Red Raiders only 7 of 11 shots here in the second half, but over 60%. And there's a little bit of range from Tolbert.
There's another piece of his game that we get a quick glance at. Showed some shooting touch. He's got 8 points now. And the battle by Chambers that caught Tolbert in the air, and he gets whistled for the foul.
Trojans clear it out on that side for their JUCO All-American Chambers and let him drive the ball inside against the young guy in Tolbert, and the more experienced player there in Chambers taking advantage.
Yeah, that was a real nice move by Chambers to do the body fake and get Tolbert up in the air. And he knocks down the free throw. It took a little bit of effort, but it finally rolled in for him.
Got all areas of the rim before dropping in.
Red Raiders start this season with a few games at home here, which is a nice way to start the Billy Gillespie era. Get him some home cooking here and let him feel the warmth of the Red Raider fans who are here in attendance tonight. Tolbert with the rebound off the miss there, but he threw it away.
Well, he threw it away because Durante Clark shoved Ty Nurse to the floor as Tolbert was passing him the ball, and it's hard to field that ball when it's when you're headed down to the floor. You can watch it right here. Tolbert's going to turn back to Nurse and watch Nurse just get shoved to the floor.
Boy, really did. Really did.
Might
no call.
Missed one there.
Red Raiders with a 5-point lead, and Weathers has been relatively quiet tonight. Ooh. Not even close on that shot.
Got away from Bean Willis, but not good with the shot.
8 points, but they've been very quiet 8 points, and that miss right there gives the Red Raiders a chance to push the lead a little bit. Pettaway couldn't hang on to it. Willis couldn't quite get the handle either. They're wanting to pass it before they catch it. Now Willis with the three, and he was open, and he knocked it down. That's what the Red Raiders needed. Try to get that margin to grow just a little bit. Willis with 7.
I think that's the 8th three-pointer tonight for the Red Raiders. And again, nice look back over from Nurse to find Bean there just wide open and able to knock that one down.
Well, according to the railing on the other side, that is the 8th, as a matter of fact. the hanging the threes. They hang their 8th one when Willis knocked that down. They also have a couple of slam banners up there next to the threes. Well, we're not going to have to look at the stat monitor anymore. We're just going to look over there, and those couple of fans up there on that front row helping us out. Well, Scott helping out the Trojans with both free throws there, and that keeps it a little bit closer with 10 minutes left to play now, 67-61. Red Raiders by 6. The good news, though, a little earlier when the Red Raiders were the ones and the whistle right there on the inbounds attempt. It's against Tolbert, who apparently, according to the official, shoving Clark. And Tolbert now in some serious foul trouble with his 4th.
Yeah, you've got Tolbert with 4, and you've got Lewandowski with 4, and now Jerron Nash will check in.
We're going to see the height connection work, but certainly not the body. 6'8", 190-pound sophomore out of San Antonio Churchill, and another whistle against the Red Raiders. That goes against Pettaway. And suddenly the Red Raiders just getting the fouls mounted against the numbers just growing like crazy. That's their 9th team foul.
Yeah, a lot of time still to play as well. I mean, just over 10 minutes remaining. A lot of opportunities for Troy to get on the free throw line.
Well, this time they call it against Owens. The double team against Willis, and he was able to dribble out of it and at the same time get the foul against Owens. And that is his 3rd.
Boy, one thing you don't want to do is get trapped down there on the baseline, because what do you do with the basketball? I mean, Bean's got absolutely nowhere to go at all.
But did a nice job to get out of there and draw the foul, and so now Owens will check out. Both teams with some of their key players with foul trouble. The Red Raiders with both their big guys, Lewandowski and Tolbert, on the bench. And Willis missing the free throw. Going to have to make those down the stretch. Here comes Weathers. And he splits the seam. Tosses it up. The whistle inside again. And the Red Raiders, seems like every time down the floor now are getting called. It's Gocher that gets whistled this time.
Billy Gillespie wanted a traveling call against Weathers. Gocher trying to go straight up on that play. Got him a little bit with the body. But in a game where they've let a lot of that bodying go when the Red Raiders inbound the basketball, not certain that was the right call.
Well, and you can see why he wanted that travel, too, because Weathers, when he stopped, had already held his dribble, got the 2 down, and then he kind of popped up with his body, and his feet shuffled.
Right.
But the official whistling it prior to that, I suppose. Now that free throw is good, and it's a 4-point game. So with 9:53 left, the Red Raiders up by 4, but with 2 key players on the bench. Now one of them is going to come back, Lewandowski, as quickly as he can in just a moment. Pettaway on the drive and the alley-oop. Can't get it for the basket, but able to control it, and what a nice move by Nash to throw it up and get it to go in. Jerron Nash. Oh, my.
I think the big question on Billy Gillespie's mind is, why are we trying to lob one up like that on an alley-oop play? That's the question for Pettaway, but he got bailed out there by a sophomore in Jerron Nash, who comes down with the basketball and then goes right back up and scores.
And look how well he battled with the 2 bodies on him, despite the fact that a little bit thinner than the 6'7" player he replaced, but still shows that he's got some pretty good ability to knife through the defense. Now from outside, Trojans miss. Getting the rebound, though. Boy, really fighting for it inside his chambers. And you see why he is a JUCO All-American. I mean, the guy really gets up there and uses his body well.
I'll say one thing about the guys on this Troy team compared to some of the younger Red Raiders. I mean, more physically filled out. I mean, Chambers, a junior college transfer at 6'6", at least 220. You've got Nash at 6'8", 6'9", but maybe 180 pounds. So the physical advantage at this point in that matchup clearly going to Troy, but unable to deliver at the free throw line. And now Billy Gillespie's got no choice. Really get Lewandowski back in. And part of the reason for that will be if this free throw is made, you've got to inbound the ball against that pressure.
Well, the good news is their free throw shooting has been atrocious tonight, has Troy. They're down in the 55% range, but Weathers comes out with it. The kick back. 3-point try, no good. Nurse with the rebound. He's got to get it out of there, too. The pressure coming. And he does. Minnis, who's checked back in.
Somebody's open down the floor.
Weathers kicks it away. Red Raiders will control the basketball with the 69-63 lead. And it a little wild out there right now.
I think Gillespie's going to look up at the clock and go, I wonder if it's stopped. I mean, it seems like we've been in the range of 10 or 9 minutes remaining for quite a while.
Well, Troy, when they've been getting the basketball offensively, have been jacking it up so quickly the last 4 times down the floor. 6 seconds, 6 seconds, 8 seconds, 5 seconds. They're wanting to get back and get back quickly, although there's still 8:55 left to play.
Well, one of the things that their coach, Don Maestri, wants back in their program, and Billy Gillespie likes that as well. But Troy wants to lead the nation in scoring, and you got to shoot the ball to do that, and they don't waste any time.
Well, Weathers answers the 3 by Ty Nurse, but what a night he is having in his debut. Ty Nurse now with 26 points, and the 3-pointers that he has knocked down tonight have been very timely. 6 for 9 from the 3-point line.
No more timely in this ball game than the one on the last possession, too.
Although it was answered by Weathers, now Pettaway trying to get the basket. Boy, it's in and out.
Well, and Pettaway on the baseline near side. Lewandowski pinned off, and nobody else in there to try and rebound.
Weathers, we talked about how quiet he seemed to be a little while ago. He has certainly started to make some noise. Gets the bucket there. He's got 12. Actually, that was his 14th point, those two. And so now he's pushing the numbers up and also giving the Trojans a chance to hang in here. 72-67. Red Raiders lead it and have the ball.
Well, they're going to extend that defense a little bit on Ty Nurse because he has burned them tonight.
Lewandowski kicked it out, wanted it back. And they didn't see him as he crossed the lane. Might have had an opportunity to get it to him. Willis is going to take the 3 with 4 seconds on the shot clock. Knock down the 3, and that has been the key to getting that lead pushed back out for the Red Raiders here at 75-67.
10 of 17 tonight, long range for the Red Raiders. Only 2 times a year ago did Texas Tech make more 3-pointers in a game than they have tonight. 12 against Georgia Southern early in the year, and then late 11 against Oklahoma. Won both of those games, but 10 of 17, 64% 3-point shooting tonight. That is really a special night.
Outside by Wright, and it's an air ball because Pettaway was right in his face. Minnis on the floor battling for it. And the whistle is going to go.
I'm feeling
That's allowed,
bad.
isn't it?
I'm feeling bad for the guy in the panda suit that didn't win. I mean, what do you have to do to win?
Free throw line from Minnis, and he misses. Red Raiders, we talked about this a moment ago. The one thing is we all well know, you get into a game near the end of it when you're still in a battle, those free throws can really cost you if you don't make them. He does make the second one, though, and quickly down there is Weathers. Boy, do they put the basketball up in a hurry.
Weathers was doing a lot of talking on the free throw line on the other end and delivers on the offensive end for the Troy Trojans, but just so very quick. I mean, a guy that ranked among the best in the country a year ago, assisting with the basketball, tonight in double figures with 16 for his team.
Wonder if he was saying, look, as soon as you shoot this thing, I'm running down there and I'm going to put it up, so you better hurry.
I'm tired of standing here.
Because that's exactly what he did. Red Raiders slowing it down a bit now and trying to use up some of that clock, working it around nicely. But now the shot clock down to 2. And Willis is the guy that tries to get the shot off, and he did, but couldn't get it to go. And boy, Boy, Crowd and everybody else wanted to travel there on Owens.
Oh, we just opened
Weathers
up for him to go inside.
Draws the foul. Boy, you probably could have taken it from either one of the defenders that were in there for the Red Raiders, but it's going to be Minnis. Correction, Nash is the guy that got the call. I told you it could have been either one of them.
Well, watch the Red Raider defense. They just kind of part. They just say, okay, go ahead, drive right inside. He got around Petaway and then just able to drive right to the rack.
Oh, and it was Minnis, without a doubt. Weathers at the free throw line. Red Raiders' point is 6 now. Nash checks out. And Weathers makes another one. Weathers 5 for 6 from the free throw line.
I wanted to say this one's a lot like that first exhibition game against Southwestern Oklahoma. That one just, they allowed Southwestern just to hang around till right at the very end before finally regaining control, but it's going to be the same way tonight, I think.
Petaway got called for the travel. He was just about to set up for the shot. He took a little extra step. And he comes out, much to the dismay of Coach Gillespie. Not that he came out, but that he had that turnover that forced him to come out.
Well, they come up and try and trap the guard right at midcourt on the baseline or on the out of bounds line, and you get the pass inside to Petaway. He's by himself down there in the short corner and just shuffles the feet.
Lewandowski checks out. Gocher's in now. He's got 4 fouls, so has to play carefully. The quick shot by Weathers again. And the rebound inside for the Trojans. Cunningham was right there. And now suddenly that lead is just 3 again. And that is the thing about this Trojan team. They are so quick. And Nash with a nice baseline drive also draws the foul, and he'll get to the free throw line with a chance for 3.
Boy, and the great job again right here at midcourt where they're going to try to come and trap you right there as you get that ball across midcourt. That's a tough spot, but a great job by Bean to get the ball to Gocher and then inside to Nash.
Nash, the junior college transfer, he's a sophomore, was only there for a year, averaged 11 points, 4.3 rebounds a game for Tyler Junior College. Was also recruited by Iowa, Nebraska, West Virginia. Misses the free throw there, but a guy that a lot of eyeballs were on when he was coming out of JC.
And we talked about Minnis growing up in a great basketball family. Well, Jerron's dad played college basketball at Florida International. So, again, lots of talent.
Oh, they left Owens open that time, and he made him pay. The senior with the jam, and now it's a 78-75 lead for the Red Raiders. Had to get the inbounds in, and the timeout was called by.
And Weathers, a great assist man, sees his big man all by himself.
But you can understand why, because every time he's been coming down the floor of late, he's taken it himself very quickly and put it up on the glass or in the net. So the Red Raiders, having seen that now 3 or 4 times, they go, hey, we're not going to let him do it again, and he makes them pay.
Yeah.
And he is one of the guys that has been around, the junior from New Orleans. This is not his first dance. Red Raiders kicking it around, looking for the open man, letting it wind down a bit. 4:25 left on the game clock, 5 on the shot clock. Inside to Lewandowski. Nice hook shot. There it is. Now that's a shot we're familiar with. Hadn't seen it yet tonight, but boy, we've seen plenty of it in his career.
Nurse is on the wing on that side of the floor, and he's got 26 points. Can't come off of him. It's one-on-one with Big Lou and Tim Owens, and he's able to get the jump hook to go.
Red Raiders by 5, 4:10 left on the game clock. And the shot made by Allen Jones. Boy, that was all Allen Jones doing it himself. He's a junior college transfer out of Wichita.
He made the pump fake outside and got Ty Nurse off his feet.
Bad pass by Tolbert, threw it behind the breaking Willis. And that's just a matter of these guys not playing that much together yet, not knowing the speed of Willis when he broke on the transition. Now the whistle, and John Minnis is in there, along with Lewandowski, Gocher, Nurse, and Willis. Again, Tolbert fouling out just a moment ago. And that is why you see Cunningham at the free throw line. The lead's still 3. And the Red Raiders get a break. Well, Willis with a nice job on that rebound, too. 3:30 left to play. Red Raiders up by 3. You know, that experience of that first exhibition game you were talking about, John, might be a good experience for him coming down the wire here.
Very similar to this one. You've got 2 true freshmen on the floor in Biggie Minnis and Gocher. A little bit of experience with Bean Willis and Lewandowski.
And your junior college transfer in Nurse. And there you go. Shooting it right at the buzzer, and Bean Willis knocks it down. Boy, how big is that shot?
Well,
and then Weathers,
at this point.
Weathers kicked it out because Willis did a great job on the defensive end. Cunningham using that arm to get some distance. Boy, Weathers somehow got that ball out without getting whistled, and here come the Red Raiders. Nurse is open for the drive, and he draws the foul. Boy, talking about putting a nail in right there. That could be the one. R.J. Scott with a foul. And it should go to Ty Nurse the way he's played tonight.
Well, he's got 6 3-pointers from long range. His 7th 3-point play may be very, very big, but right there conditioning comes into play. Gets that ball on the other end and just takes off. I mean, didn't even hesitate. Went right to the rack and fouled by Scott from behind, and a big, big free throw here.
And he nails it. Boy, Nurse has been perfect at the free throw line tonight. He's been pretty well. Just as I was looking down at the stat monitor, I looked back up, and Bean Willis gets whistled for the holding foul.
Yeah, on the inbounds play.
Boy.
Gonna have to tell Billy Gillespie it's my fault.
I wouldn't want to go over to the bench right at this moment.
No.
But Gillespie calls him over, and you kind of have to at that point, don't you? Weathers hits the free throw.
You say, I can't hear you.
Weathers, another guy that has been very good at the line, although he was a little quick with that shot. He's so quick with the shot, he shoots them even when he's not. The officials aren't ready for it.
When the officials say, give me the basketball.
85-78. Makes them both. And the substitution brings Durante Clark in for Allen Jones.
Red Raiders trying to spread out a little bit before this inbounds play so Troy can't get multiple defenders on the guy who gets the ball inbounded.
Boy, Willis with a great job to get it out, but then Lewandowski, who was trailing, couldn't get to the basketball in time. And the turnover goes back to the Trojans. Gotcher gets yanked down, though, and that's got to go against Cunningham. It does.
Well, part of the problem on the other end, on the pass to Lewandowski, he's 6'10". You throw him the ball down low. He's got to get that ball up high to have a better chance to handle it.
Well, Gocher had both hands on the ball right there. Cunningham with just the one, trying to hang on for dear life, and Gocher just too strong for him there.
Yeah, see, there's the Lewandowski pass. Down low and out front. Not the spot you want to be trying to pass the ball in transition to your big man.
No. But the Red Raiders getting the break at the other end, and Gocher unfortunately unable to knock it down, and that was his first free throw attempt. Ty Nurse leading the way with 29 tonight, and again, he's done it in just about every fashion you can imagine. Red Raiders, though, unable to just put this one away right now with 2:20 left to play, because here comes Webb. Basket down at the other end by Nurse, and the three-point play, and then suddenly they're unable to hit free throws. They allow a quick transition by the Trojans, and now they're going to have to fight to get the basketball back on the offensive end of the floor, and got to push the lead again. Minnis getting trapped. Gets it out to Lewandowski at the last moment.
Ty Nurse tried to put Will Weathers over here in the stands with us as he was trying to come over and defend against Biggie Minnis. Pretty good job to get away from the defense when you reach in from behind and move them.
Good feed by Nurse over to Minnis, and he draws the foul. Couldn't get the basket to go, but if he can hit from the line, it'll be just as effective.
Absolutely, but you do send another true freshman to the free throw line in very much crunch time, trying to hang on and build on a 4-point lead.
3 for 5 so far tonight, and cannot get it bounce in. Well, this is the time where the free throws, if you do not get them to go, and let's say you just get one, it's back to that trading 1 for 2 or 3. And you can ill afford that with a 5-point lead, 1:49 to go.
The thing about missing free throws late in the game, you don't have time to make up for the misses.
Weathers that time got it knocked away by Willis, which was a good thing, slowed it down a little bit. And the errant shot. So Red Raiders get the rebound this time. That was the key, slowing that offense down, keeping Weathers from putting it up right away.
Well, and Chambers at the free throw line just turns and fired it up. Really did not get set, didn't get a good look at the bucket for Troy, and that is a huge miss, down by 5 at this point.
Oh, nice back cut, and didn't get the shot up by Gocher, but Lewandowski did such a nice job of feeding him the ball that everything inside there became positive for the Red Raiders because, hey, Trojans had to put a body on somebody.
Defense starts to collapse after Lewandowski makes that pass to Gocher on the baseline, and then he drops it off to Minnis coming from the opposite side, and you foul him or you give the Red Raiders a 2-point bucket.
And Chambers is gone. That's his 5th. So he'll go to the bench, and in will come Owens, who has 4. And really, those are their 2 power guys. Now, they don't really need power guys at the moment as much as they might if they get it a little tighter. But, hey, anybody you can put on the bench right now is a good thing for the Red Raiders. Minnis hitting the free throw, which is even a better thing. You've got to keep those points when they're given to you like that.
Yeah, and one more here makes it a 3-possession game with 1:14 to play. Not that that has mattered much in terms of length of possession when Troy has the basketball, but going to get another opportunity here.
Yeah, he's going to go back to the line, and that's fortunate because Minnis missing that second one. Now we'll get a chance again to make it a 3-possession game. And the free throws, Red Raiders at 56%, same percentage for Troy. You mentioned earlier that you at practices really hadn't seen them work that much on free throws. I wonder if you might now.
Well, they've got so many other things that Billy Gillespie wants to work on that's one of those things, but you'll get to it.
Swinging it back out. Cunningham trying the drive, and the tip in by Owen. So it's one of those things where you kind of expected this one to go Red Raiders' way. However, you just really have no idea with all the youth and the newness. And another turnover by the Red Raiders, but they get it back. It's Nurse that dives in there and fights for it.
Real steadying influence for the Red Raiders. Grabbed that ball and didn't try to take off down the floor that time. Wanted to hang on to it, let his teammates clear out, and then bring the ball up the floor.
And Red Raiders didn't mean that they hadn't lost to a Sun Belt team ever. I meant they hadn't lost to this one. They'd never met Troy before. They're 21-13 overall all time against the Sun Belt. Great battle, though, this one has turned out to be with the Red Raiders up 5. Nurse thought about driving the baseline, couldn't really find anywhere to go. Lewandowski off the glass. And Minnis. There's the shot clock. Red Raiders with another turnover and a 5-point game. Weather in the last several baskets for the Trojans. They've just been putting them up in a hurry. 12 seconds has been about the longest time they've had the ball before they've put it in the hole. Red Raiders with the...
Here you go.
Yeah, they finally break it, and Lewandowski with the jam. 7 seconds to play. That ought to do it. 5 points. And then Gocher with a great hustle to knock it out of bounds as they tried to throw it back down the long pass down the court. So the Red Raiders finally break the press on the inbounds, and they do it in grand fashion to get the basket that should have sealed it.
Yeah, great look ahead. The big Lou down the floor. And you're right, that should seal it. But the way these guys shoot it, and as quickly as they can put it up, I don't think it's safe until that horn sounds.
Ty Nurse with 29. Bean Willis with 15. The shot from outside is no good. Red Raiders are going to win it. Lewandowski ends up with